Hello, Moon Babes. I wanted to check in to see how you are doing with this Taurus full moon or Taurus lunar eclipse that was exact at 3:57 a.m. this morning. We're finally out of that eclipse portal. The moon didn't move into Gemini, I think, until just, I don't know, like an hour ago, like at 11 or something. Moon moved into Gemini at 9:32 a.m. So yeah, we had an eclipse, a very long eclipse. And this was along the Taurus Scorpio axis. So currently, the sun is in Scorpio, and the moon was in Taurus. And it was at the very late degrees of Taurus. In Scorpio, 27 degrees, Sagittarius season starts on Sunday. Oh my gosh, yay. And because the North Node is at the very beginning of Gemini, because the nodes work backwards, it's at 1 degrees right here, and the moon was very, very close to that Gemini North Node because it was in the late degrees of Taurus. So this was, an eclipse in Taurus, on the Scorpio Taurus axis, but it also had a lot of themes of the Gemini Sagittarius axis, because that is where the current nodes are. And eclipses, they always occur when a full moon happens very close to the nodal axis. So that's how you can tell an eclipse is coming. If you see the degrees of the nodes, and then you see the degrees of the sun and the moon, you know that there's an eclipse coming. It is, I think, I don't remember who I actually heard this from, really blanking on her name, but I think it might have been like a course I had taken a couple of years ago or something on eclipses, but it's whenever they're within 19 degrees of one another, that can be considered an eclipse. So if, the moon is 19 degrees from the nodal axis, most likely there will be an eclipse. So this one was, 4 degrees or so, 4 degrees from the nodal axis. So very, very potent eclipse, but they were in opposite signs. So kind of like a wild card going on here, especially with, Gemini energy in there. But the ruler of the North Node is Mercury, and it's in Scorpio. Okay, and it was also fairly close to the sun at the time, but it was also forming a trine to Neptune in Pisces. So that was exact right before the eclipse, I believe late Thursday or Thursday afternoon or something. And so this may have us, thinking things or believing things that may not be true, or that may be delusions or something. It may also have us saying things, and maybe in a forgiving, being able to communicate in a kind or forgiving, considerate, compassionate way. But I don't think entirely we are. I think it's almost like this an illusion that we're trying to maybe possibly get along with people, but I kind of feel like there's a lot of things being expressed right now. That Mercury is also square Jupiter. Jupiter is actually breaking up, and that's why I have this highlighted very strongly. It's breaking up this eclipse. So much of this pressure between the moon and the sun is being released onto Jupiter. Now, let me just back up and further explain what an eclipse really means, or the way that I see it. My interpretation of how an eclipse is it occurs when the Earth is blocking the illumination of the sun, and so we don't see the full, lunation. We don't see all of the light of the moon. It's not full as we normally see it during the peak moment of a full moon, because of the Earth's involvement. The Earth is right here. It's blocking that sun, and so the way that I see it, especially with a lunar eclipse, is that we're trying to release something. We want to let something go, and it's very much so tied to the past. So like all these past kind of elements are coming up because the north node's involvement, the south node's involvement. The sun is very close to the south node, and so the moon is this block, and the moon represents like reality. It's material reality, and so especially when it comes to Taurus, Taurus is all about groundedness, the earth, ground, soil, ground, gardening, tangible objects. This is so much about what's happening during this eclipse is all about what is real. It's like we want to release something, but there is some sort of real life thing that needs to occur in order for that's like blocking us from like actually like releasing that. And so this is why eclipses, especially lunar eclipses, are associated with like major endings, and then solar eclipses are associated with major beginnings. So there's like this major ending, there's like this major release, because it's almost like we have to do a lot of work to get to that release. There's something blocking us, something in the way, and it's like, oh my God, I just need to like get there. So it's like you got to move something out of the way, you got to throw something out of the way, and it's something most likely having to do with possessions, money, your value systems, because it's all in Taurus. And whenever the sun is in, the sun is currently in Scorpio. And so that means Earth is in Taurus. So that is what needs to be released. Something needs to be released there. I don't know what it is. Money, the way that you handle your money, your income, the possessions you have around you, your resources, how you utilize your resources. So Taurus is the sign that is ruled by Venus. Venus is over here in Capricorn. It is out of bounds currently, and is the ruler of the moon. It's also the ruler of Uranus. Okay, so there's a lot happening because not only that, Uranus is making a trine to Venus. So we have full moon at the same time that Uranus is making a trine to Venus, and we also have Mars opposite Uranus, and Mercury trine Neptune. And then of course we have, Saturn making this sextile to Chiron, which has been going on pretty much this entire year. I feel like not many people are really discussing that too much, but that has been in the background of this entire year as well. So what this is major. I feel like it's like we're releasing, I feel like we're saying the things that are really aligned with our value systems. And because we're saying things in a very intense way, we might be like saying things that are really kind of piercing the psyches of others, penetrating people very deeply, in order to like work through this eclipse energy. And so we might be able to like say things in a way that might be almost deceptive or something, maybe trying to like, have it land on someone gently, but it's really not. It's penetrating them. It's hitting them quite deeply. And so just be aware of that. I know I've already like been like in that for like the past 24 hours, sent a couple of messages to people, trying to figure out what exactly is going on, because there's like, I don't know, some confusing scenarios occurring in my life with individuals that I'm trying to sort out. And I'm like trying to be like nice. I'm trying to like, send something that will hopefully like keep the relationship together, but then also stand my ground. So it's like, it's hard because it's like, you have to stand your ground right now. You have to be true to your value systems. You have to be aware of what it is you need and you don't need in your life right now. And so you might be sending messages, letting people know, and probably trying to word it in a very kind way. I don't know if it's gonna, it depends on that individual that's receiving the messages, the organizations maybe that are receiving them, whatever it is. It depends on, their state of mind and how they can respond to you in that manner. And, during eclipse, everyone's kind of like, woo, whatever, all over the place. So who knows? Who knows how they're feeling and what's going on there? So with Venus making this trine to Uranus, again, there is like some sort of, whenever there's trine energy, there's unrestricted flow of energy. It's just happening. It's just going. So, disruptions within relationships are likely to just happen. People are feeling possibly needing a major change right now in their lives. They're saying things that are penetrating the psyches of others, but maybe in an elusive way or something. And they're likely to shake things up within your relationships. So the things that you're saying absolutely are shaking things up within your relationships, within your resources, the things that you may be studying or looking into at this time, information being received, all that stuff. Now, with Mars also being in opposition to Uranus, all of this, Mars, Mercury, and the Sun, they're all being disposed by Pluto and Capricorn. Yeah, so he's the ruler of all of those guys. And so there's just what do I want to say? There's a lot of it's just so penetrating right now. I don't know what else to say. It's like, it just feels like a lot of sharpness, abrupt directness, perhaps. Maybe like someone reached out to you or something, and you're like responding back with something that might be very direct and also penetrating, also slightly elusive. And it's like, yeah, that's gonna ruffle some feathers. But you want to be direct right now, because whatever is happening right now, it probably needs to happen. But all of this is being pushed onto that Jupiter. So a lot of this is being released onto the Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of the South Node. So it's also an important player, of course, in this lunar eclipse and all of the eclipses during the Gemini, Sagittarius nodal journey here. So much was being pressed onto that, or being expressed through that Jupiter. And so Jupiter, the planet of seeking truth, of expanding yourself, of broadening your perspective, the perspective of others, your opportunities. So there might be something like you might be exploring some sort of new opportunity that will lead to greater connection, stronger connection. I always feel like Aquarius is like really strong connections. It's the last air sign. So it's that connection that really is glued together, as much as air can be glued together, of course. So you might be looking into something, you might be expressing something, that might be a little bit, maybe even ideological, or just belief-based, looking into that, looking into possibly your beliefs, things, the ways that you have been expanding yourself within your connections. This could be the internet, as well. So this is like a time to really take stock of who has been following your boundaries. Okay, because Scorpio has trouble with boundaries, especially once they merge. That archetype, once it's merged with something, once it becomes one with another entity, the boundaries are just they're not there are no boundaries because you are literally like merged completely with whatever it is. It could be a thing, a substance, an individual. And so like, really taking stock of what your values are they aligned with these really powerful connections that you have? And if they aren't, then they need to be broken. They need to be severed, so severing some connections here, some possibly like connections to community, but then also being pushed into new avenues of opportunity. So whatever is like broken at this time for you during this full moon, look at the opportunity, look at where you could expand yourself, look at the communities you could be involved in, the individuals that you could align with and connect more deeper with. And it might be something from like, I don't know, I feel like it might be something from the past. There might be something from the past that you didn't realize was an option for you to explore further, coming up for you, or just in general. But yeah, lots of judgment coming within relationships, really hitting each other pretty hard with maybe some hard truths, some hard perspectives, some piercing of the psyche, maybe something from the past, information from the past. And then, that's helping us get through this blockage, to release, to get to that security, that sense of security and groundedness, wholeness that you might be desiring, right? I know this has a lot to do with like worth, so it's like, who has been adhering to your boundaries, who hasn't, and those who haven't, maybe you're able to, evolve the relationship, communicate in a way that can allow the relationship to evolve, or maybe you can't. It takes two, definitely, to solve relationship issues. And so if one party is not willing to do the work, then that's gotta be the end to that. All right, I think that's all I really want to talk about. I was looking at the midpoints. I do like to look at midpoints, especially when there is some tense things going on. So like that Mars, Uranus midpoint, it's at 12 degrees of Aquarius. So the way to maybe express, this directness is possibly by taking a step back and seeing the larger picture, or at least like explaining the larger picture to others, and be maybe more objective. And that's all I'm going to say for you today. I hope you can come to the Taurus lunar eclipse Zoom gathering on Sunday night from 7 to 9 p.m. I would love it if you could join. Last full moon, no one signed up, so I didn't have it, and I wasn't really very vocal about it. I was kind of like totally in my head and all over the place, so I'm sorry for that. I'm trying to be better at notifying, giving you notifications. I am, I have a lot of things going on in my life, so it can be very difficult, challenging to always make sure everything is getting done. I'm always falling behind in something. I'm trying my best though. And so please, if you're able to come on Sunday, would love to see you. Registration is required. If I have no one signed up by like, I don't know, 6 p.m., it kind of sucks because it's like I kind of plan my entire Sunday around it. And then if I see no one has signed up, then I'm like, okay, so I guess. So I'm like, I'm wondering if I should like say, you guys should register by Saturday. That would be cool if you could register by Saturday, so I don't have to like wait around all day Sunday wondering or not if this is going to happen and plan my entire day around it. Anyways, I'm going to keep making some of these videos for you. Thank you for being here. Of course, always reach out, send me questions if you have any, but be well. Bye.